This is a Global Geopolitical Pulse special report. We are auditing the giant of Africa, a nation defined by paradox and potential. Nigeria's status as a continental leader is historically undisputed, but the structural foundations are showing deep systemic cracks. For decades, governance has been defined by performative gestures. Speeches about progress often mask a widening disconnect from the citizens. The crisis is far from over because the bottleneck remains at the top. Policy is reactionary, lacking the radical reform needed for a youth-heavy population. Nowhere is this failure more evident than in the currency. The devaluation of the Naira has effectively rewritten the national economic ledger. A floating currency without industrial backing has left the economy vulnerable to every shock in the global market. Every devaluation represents a direct loss of purchasing power for millions who had spent decades building a modest middle-class life. Food inflation has reached multi-decade highs. For the average Nigerian, basic survival is now an act of financial gymnastics. The middle class is being erased, leaving a dangerous vacuum between the ultra-wealthy and those pushed below the poverty line. Compounding the economic misery is an infrastructure that simply cannot keep the lights on. The national power grid is in a state of terminal failure. Businesses are forced into a generator economy, where expensive diesel fuel eats away at every margin of competitiveness. This instability has fueled the Japa Syndrome, a mass exodus of Nigeria's most valuable resource, its human capital. The country is losing its doctors, engineers, and tech innovators to the UK, Canada, and the US at an alarming rate. It is a ticking time bomb for future development. Nigeria is educating a workforce that it cannot afford to keep or employ. We see a recurring reliance on savior leaders, charismatic individuals who promise change but fail to institutionalize reform. Governance must be built on institutions, not individuals. Without transparency, the cycle of corruption and incompetence simply reboots. Nigeria's struggle isn't isolated. It mirrors a broader continental crisis, most notably in South Africa, where leaders are finally speaking out. But even in South Africa, the rhetoric often serves as a distraction from the government's own failure to provide basic services. Xenophobia is used as a political tool, scapegoating fellow Africans for economic failures like unemployment and crumbling infrastructure. This black-on-black tension is a dangerous precursor to wider civil unrest, masking the underlying failure of the Rainbow Nation promise. The Nigerian diaspora sends billions home every year, but these funds are largely used for survival, not the long-term investment the nation needs. The investment climate is simply too volatile. Capital flows where it is safe, and right now, Nigeria is a high-risk briefing for any investor. Insecurity, from kidnapping to banditry, acts as an additional tax on development, further stripping the nation of its leadership status. Mismanagement and insecurity are forcing the giant to recede, yielding its influence to more stable neighbors on the continent. The path forward requires more than speaking out. It requires radical economic diversification and a genuine commitment to the rule of law. With 60% of the population under 25, the youth dividend could still save the nation if the barriers to their success are removed. Nigeria's potential is matched only by its governance deficit. The crisis is real, but the solutions are known. Accountability is the final missing piece. Thank you for joining this deep dive into the forces shaping West Africa. We are your eyes on the global stage. If you value investigative analysis that cuts through the noise, subscribe to Global Geopolitical Pulse right now. Don't miss our next briefing. Subscribe today and join the conversation on the future of our world. Pulse out.